Hey yo, this is Nick Moff with the 5th episode of Spring Cleaning Movie Project, in which I take every movie that I haven't seen off my shelf and watch them and do short reviews. So this last movie I watched was Dead Man. This movie came out in 1996. We have it on DVD. I remember Shannon bought this movie sometime last year, and I know she's seen it, but I haven't gone around to seeing it yet. It's directed by Jim Jarmusch, who I've been becoming quite a big fan of. He did like Coffee and Cigarettes, and one of my favorites from a couple years ago, Patterson, and Only Lovers Left Alive. This movie. So this is a Western. It's a Western, but it's like a twisted Western. I guess Jim Jarmusch called it a psychedelic Western, which I don't really necessarily see. I didn't think the visuals or anything about it was too like psychedelic, except for Neil Young's soundtrack was pretty like was psychedelic enough. But like I would call it more of like a neo-Western, because it's like it's taking the Western genre and the tropes that go along with it, but making them just a little different, like little on its side and more for a modern time. Even though this came out in 1996, it's like at the time that was pretty new. A lot of these ideas were pretty new of doing that with Westerns. For example, like it had like the dynamic between like cowboys and Indians, except it was mostly from the Native American perspective, like killing the white man. It was all about like the ruthlessness in the West, except like there was cannibalism heavily involved. Revenge was a big element, being an outlaw, getting away on horseback, just going out to the West, and not really being what it seems. But so it was very, very much a Western, but then there were also qualities about it that weren't Western-esque. Like it was in black and white. It didn't really have any of the long scoped landscape shots that Westerns usually have. This one was more like close-ups. It almost was like claustrophobic in comparison to a lot of other Westerns, and that might have been because of the budget, because this movie is definitely like a smaller budget than a lot of other Westerns. But anyway, this movie was really good. It was definitely really interesting. Jim Jarmusch definitely has like a certain style about him. His movies are usually something special. This movie, it's got kind of a classic Western story. Like Johnny Depp plays this guy who goes out west looking for opportunity, but he's kind of nerdy. He's an accountant, and he gets there, and the job that he thought he was guaranteed to him wasn't there. He gets kind of into a crummy situation. Someone accidentally gets killed. This guy kills this lady that he's with. Johnny Depp kills him, and then he also gets shot. He escapes. A Native American finds him in the woods and like brings him back to life using like magic and spirituality and stuff. And he kind of becomes this almost like he goes on this he goes on this like vision quest where he becomes like this like white man killer and he's really good at it. And it's actually, he goes from being an accountant to actually being like a badass Western type character. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely different, like I wouldn't necessarily recommend this to everybody, but just like the vibe of it is really unique. It's the supporting cast is really fun. I'd be amiss if I didn't like talk about some of the people that just show up in it. Like Crispin Glover is in it for a minute. Like Iggy Pop and Billy Bob Thornton are in the West as characters. I think one of the coolest ones is Robert Mitchum, who's famous for a lot of like 1950s film noirs. This is actually his final appearance in movies before he died. He's like in his 80s, but it's really cool seeing him. Anyway, so I mean, I would recommend it if you were into Westerns and like kind of into that like indie kind of quality of like taking something that's very popular but doing it a little differently. So again, that's Dead Man, Jim Jarmusch. Thanks for watching.